Hey there guys, PortalMaster9351 here, and in this video, I'm going to be discussing theories, opinions, and thoughts about the current state of Skylanders and Year 2 and Skylanders 7 and the mobile game. I'm basically going to be talking about where I think the Skylanders franchise is right now. Now, let me start off by saying I'm not convinced that Year 2's not happening. It's probably not happening, but that doesn't mean that it's not. It means it's probably not. There's a difference. There's a difference. I would say, as of today, I'm probably around 60 to 65% certain that we're not getting a Year 2, but there's still that 35–40% of me that believes that there's a possibility that we could get something. So basically, the reverse of what I thought about the Krakatoa leak, but that's kind of irrelevant. But basically, I'm not discounting a Year 2 yet. But let me explain something. So, okay, we have a ton of hints to Year 2. Before E3, regardless of the Krakatoa and the Barbella leaks, I was convinced 100% we were getting a Year 2. I was pretty much dead certain we were going to get it because of all these hints that I found, all of this merchandising that I've discovered about Skylanders. And it occurred to me that I think there's something going on here that we're not considering. So, this, you could say, is my Skylanders Imaginators master theory. So, okay, all of the merchandising for Skylanders, with the exception of Skylanders Academy, has not been in production through 2016 or 2017. We're not going to see Skylanders merchandise such as comics and books and book bags and all those stuff. There was nothing like that for Superchargers, or really Imaginators. Like, there were a couple things for Superchargers, but like the comics ended and all this stuff just pretty much ended for Skylanders. The series was pretty much winding down, approaching Skylanders Imaginators. But now, after like a year and a half of no merchandising, we're seeing this stuff pop back up. That's incredibly weird. Why would they take this year break for Skylanders Imaginators? It doesn't make any sense. So, I was thinking to myself that I may have finally cracked the code as to why, the real reason why we're not getting a new game this year. And it's this. Skylanders Imaginators was originally planned to be the last game of the Skylanders franchise. I am almost 100% convinced of this theory that I've devised. Superchargers sold relatively poorly, and I think that by that time they were already over halfway done with Skylanders Imaginators production. Figures had already been sent to manufacturers, figure schematics, figures were already in production, they were being packaged and all that stuff, and it was too late to scrap the project. So they basically said, okay, we've got pretty much a half-baked product, let's kind of wrap it up, and let's just go ahead and sell it as it is, or just do a couple more things to it and sell it as it is. We'll just try to collect what we can out of Skylanders Imaginators, and we'll just sort of go from there. We'll kind of end the franchise afterwards. We'll go through with Academy just because Skylanders Academy is so far into production. We'll go ahead and keep it. If it's successful, we'll keep making more seasons of it, but for as of right now, we're done with this. We're done with the game series. That's what I think originally happened. But then, Skylanders Imaginators did better than expected, and so did Academy. Academy was incredibly successful. I mean, it's watched by a lot of people on Netflix. And so I think at that point they realized, wait a second, we've still got a franchise that's alive and it's well, and so let's go ahead and continue on with this. For Skylanders Imaginators, they were kind of like, well, okay, looks like our figures are selling actually halfway decently. It looks like we can actually maybe still keep this going. They're like, but we don't have a Skylanders 7 planned. What do we do? How do we make sure that there's still content? And they said, okay, let's get someone to make us a mobile game in the early part of 2018, and let's release a couple of extra level packs to keep the franchise going as best we can as of right now until we can come back in 2018 with a actual real game. Because here's the thing. If the franchise if they were trying to end the franchise, if they had thought, wait a second, let's stop with new games, let's stop with new content, they never, ever, ever would have released Cursed Tiki Temple or The Lost Imaginite Mines. They wouldn't have gone through the trouble if they were really trying to end the franchise. They just would have released them in single packs and said, okay, let's just be done. Let's never sell Skylanders again. Just get these things out and let's just go from there. That's what they would have done, but they said, no, let's make a Cursed Tiki Temple. Let's make a Lost Imaginite Mines to hold people off for 2018. That's what they did. It was a split-second decision because UPC codes were found for single-pack versions of both Wildstorm and Robo prior to the game's release, and even later on. I think it was in like November, there were like listings on websites already for Robo single packs and Wildstorm single packs. But there's not a such thing. There are no Wildstorm or Robo single packs. Only the Lost Imaginite Mines and the Cursed Tiki Temple. Activision clearly changed their minds. They said, let's keep going with this. So, I've come to the conclusion that Skylanders Imaginators was meant to be the closer, is meant to be it. Activision was going to try to salvage what they could out of the game and just end the games, but keep going with Academy because it's successful. But that's not what happened. Imaginators outperformed their expectations. I know there have been a lot of sales numbers that have pointed to Imaginators being good or not being good in terms of sales, so I've just decided I'm going to disregard all sources regarding sales numbers because there's no way to tell which one is accurate. So, based off what I can see, Activision also decided, wait a second, Academy's doing good, we still have some life in the games, let's bring merch back. And they said, okay, we're going to get all these books. We're going to get a mobile game. Mobile games don't take that long to develop, so let's get a little, microtransaction based game going so we can help generate some cash flow, keep interest in the franchise going through the early part of 2018, and let's keep going. Now, I've not mentioned Year 2 yet, and there's a specific reason for that, and it's because we don't know if it's going to happen. The system I've just laid out makes perfect sense even if there's not a Year 2. Basically, you keep the franchise going with a couple of extra adventure packs to show that there's still support for Imaginators. Then you basically bring merch back over the summer, you make an announcement in the fall about the mobile game, and you bring Skylanders Academy Season 2 up, so you're able to keep interest going in there until the mobile game drops in early 2018, which is then followed by an announcement of an actual console game in the summer of 2018, which is followed by a full-scale game coming back in the fall of 2018. Activision dropped the ball on Skylanders in 2016, but then they realized that that ball was still rolling forward even after it was dropped, and so they picked that ball up, and now they're going to re-roll it forwards with actual momentum. And see, again, I've not mentioned Year 2 because what I just said makes perfect sense even if Year 2 is a completely fabricated construct. But say for a moment that Year 2 is a thing and you just fit it into where that plan I've just laid out. It makes even more sense. I'm pretty sure I've cracked the code, guys. Skylanders Imaginators was going to be canceled. Or Skylanders was going to be canceled and Imaginators was going to be the closer. It makes sense. I've not seen too much evidence on the contrary. I really just have not, because it doesn't make any sense as to why they just come out of the blue and make those adventure packs. The Skylanders Champions packs are also a little bit of an indicator as to sort of this kind of theory. They had overstock, more or less, on these Skylanders, and they were like, okay, we're stopping the franchise, but we need a way to get rid of these figures. So let's repackage this overstock and try to sell them as new Skylanders Champions 3-packs so we can get rid of them and close our facilities down. It makes sense, guys. It really does make sense as to what's gone on with Skylanders Imaginators. Year 2 or not, something is coming, and I'm pretty sure of it. I think, more than ever, now that there's not a year 2, that there will be a game in 2018. You know, I had another video very similar to this video that was planned after year 2 was announced. I was going to basically explain my Skylanders Imaginators master theory, which involved never making more Skylanders games, just having a year 2 and a year 3, just expansion after expansion. But after year 2 wasn't announced, I kind of had to scrap that theory, and I came up with this instead, and this makes so much more sense than what it did than in the past. So yeah, I'm really kind of curious what you guys think about this, because it's, like I said, it's something I've been thinking about for a really long time, and I've got another video talking about why I still think there's a good chance of a year 2, or at least a chance of year 2, not a good chance, but still a chance, that will be coming out later. But I did just want to go ahead and give you guys sort of my master theory on sort of what's going on with Skylanders, the franchise, and Skylanders Imaginators in general. So, what I'm really curious to hear from you guys is what you think of this theory. Do you think it makes sense? Do you think I'm just crazy, grasping at straws? I really do want to know, because I really think I'm onto something here. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys right now. This has been Portal Master 9351. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.